The Woodlot Monster Mysteries. The Frozen Vegetables. Chapter 1. A Snowy Morning. Finley! It's snowing! Eva called from outside my window. I sat up in bed and started shivering. Frost was on my window and everything outside was covered in snow. Usually, this wouldn't strike me as odd. But there was a slight problem. It was July. I threw on my jacket and shoes, then ran outside to meet Eva. Our neighbours were puzzled. "Something took a bite out of all my tomatoes," cried Mrs. Brinkley. "My squash and carrots too," said Mrs. Edwards. "And they're frozen solid. Market's tomorrow. We can't sell these." The neighbours tossed their frozen vegetables into trash cans, while Eva hit me with a gigantic snowball. "Snowball fight!" she yelled. "Not now, Eva. We have more important things to do. We need to find out what did this to our neighbourhood." Eva and I walked down the block to look for clues. We noticed the snow was only on our street. The next street over was sunny. "What would cause it to only snow on one street?" Eva asked. "I don't know," I said, "but I think we can find our answer over there." In the distance, we saw a single snowy trail leading into the woods. "Grab your things, Eva. There's a mystery to solve." Chapter 2. The Unusual Trail. Eva and I grabbed our backpacks. We hiked down the icy trail. The sun was shining bright and green grass was everywhere. Everywhere except for where we were headed. The farther we followed the trail, the snowier it got. We stopped by a frozen lake for a break and shared a thermos of chicken soup Eva packed. "I also packed hot cocoa," she said. "Eva, only you would have packed a warm meal," I laughed. "And only you would have us walking through the snow during summer," she joked. We started walking the trail again after lunch. Suddenly, we stopped. Straight ahead, we saw enormous footprints in the snow. "Are those human footprints?" Eva asked. "They're way too big," I said. I reached in my backpack and grabbed my journal to take notes. Eva and I heard a branch snap behind us. We turned around. There stood an 8-foot-tall human-like creature with long white fur and huge feet. I dropped my journal. Eva and I screamed. We hugged each other tight, then heard something unusual. "Stop, friend!" it roared. The beast smiled. It picked up my journal and handed it to me. Thank you?" I said as I grabbed it. My journal was frozen solid. "Friend," it said again. "What kind of friend is it exactly?" Eva whispered. I examined its features closely. "It's a YETI. I read about them in my monster encyclopedia." "Aren't they abominable?" Eva asked. I put my journal in my bag. "Does it look that scary to you?" Eva looked at the smiling beast. "Not really." "Name YETI," it said, pointing to himself. "Friends," I said, pointing to Eva and me. "Friends," YETI clapped. "Follow YETI," he said. Yeti pointed to a cave nearby. "Do you think following YETI is a good idea?" asked Eva. "Guess there's only one way to find out." Chapter 3. Hungry like a YETI. Yeti's cave was covered in snow and ice. Still, a warm and comforting smell filled the air. Yeti carefully stirred a large boiling pot. "I wonder what he's cooking," I said. "Hopefully not kids," Eva said with a gulp. Yeti dipped 2 stone bowls into the steamy pot and handed them to us. "Eat," he said. We looked at our bowls. They were filled with vegetable soup, and it was frozen solid. "But how?" asked Eva. "The soup was boiling seconds ago." "Yeti must have gone to our town for food last night. But just like our neighbour's vegetables and my journal, everything he touches turns to snow and ice." I grabbed my thought-out journal to take notes. Yeti crunched on frozen soup and smiled. He looks happy to have friends, I said. He must have been lonely. Then Yeti's stomach growled. Still hungry? Yeti frowned. Eva and I knew we had to help him and our neighbourhood. We just had to figure out how. Chapter 4. The perfect solution. I have extra ice cream at home, Eva said. Yeti needs a lot more food. How about frozen pizza? She asked. That's not enough either, I said. Then it hit me. Eva, what does our entire neighbourhood do every Thursday night? Sleep? No, they throw out their trash. And their trash is mostly vegetables. Oh, right, said Eva. They're perfectly good vegetables too. Some have bug bites, or now Yeti bites taken out of them, which just means they can't sell them at the market. That'd be perfect for Yeti, Eva said. Veggies! Yeti roared. Eva, Yeti and I quickly hurried back to our snowy neighbourhood. It was getting dark, and all the trash cans were by the street. Let's get to work, I said, but remember to be quiet. We don't want to alarm anyone. We grabbed my wagon, then filled it with as many vegetables as possible. This was easy, whispered Eva. No one heard or saw us. Yeti looked at our vegetables we gathered and smiled. Good friends! Yeti roared. His roar echoed through the street. Oh no, I said. Everyone heard you, Yeti. Hide! Soon, every neighbour, including our parents, was outside. They headed towards us. Finley? Eva? What are you doing? They asked. Where? I turned around. Yeti hid himself in a huge pile of snow. We're building a giant snowman, said Eva. Right. Can we finish, please? I asked. All right, just keep it down, our parents said. Everyone went back inside. Fun, said Yeti as he shook off the snow. Here's your vegetables, Eva said. She handed him the wagon. We'll bring more to you next week, so you don't have to freeze our neighbourhood again, I said. Thanks, friends, Yeti smiled. As we watched Yeti take the snowy trail, I realised Eva and I learned two very important things today. One, Yetis are real. And two, thankfully, Yetis seem to be vegetarians. The end.